Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here on this exciting, great day for Twins baseball. I want to say a few thank yous and turn it over to Carlos here in a minute to say a few things. But first and foremost, I want to thank our ownership. Jim Pohlad and the Pohlad family. A momentous day like this, a significant contract like this with a player of Carlos's stature only happens with the partnership and support of ownership. And Jim Pohlad, our club president, Dave St. Peter, the Pohlad family have continued to invest in the Minnesota Twins in a way that allows today's day to happen, and I'm very thankful for that. I also want to thank our whole baseball operations crew, from Thad to Rocco to all of our leaders within the space. The creative work that each of you have done to allow us to get to today, I think is a great testament to the work around our organization and what is in store for us this season and beyond. I want to thank Scott and the Boris Corporation and his whole crew of folks. This only happens, a deal like this only happens if there's trust, respect, admiration, and finding the right combination of fit for the player and fit for the organization. And Scott was a tremendous partner in that for us, and for that I'm incredibly thankful. And then lastly, Carlos, last but not least. I want to thank Carlos and Daniela and new little boy Kylo for joining the Minnesota Twins family. Carlos had a lot of choices, as he should. He's one of the best players in our game, and it's special. And for him to choose Minnesota, to be a part of our organization, to join the Twins family is just really special. I've watched Carlos as a player. We all know the accolades from Rookie of the Year to Gold and Platinum Gloves, All-Star, and ultimately World Series champion. It's who he is. But I will tell you that from the day we got on the Zoom to chat with him through our dinner last night, I've gotten to know the person. And this guy, through and through, is a leader, is someone that's going to continue to elevate everyone around him in our organization. That's why he's here. Beyond the play on the field, which is stellar, what he does for an organization, what his teammates in Houston have said about him, what coaches who've been around him have said about him. I'm just incredibly thrilled and thankful that you've chosen the Twins as the next place for the next chapter in your baseball career. So with that, I'm going to throw a jersey on here and officially welcome Carlos to the organization, and then he'll have a few words for you all.
Well, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Dustin. I want to thank Thad and our owner for making this possible, right? I want to also thank my family, my wife. She's watching at home with her little baby, her little newborn. Thank you for all your support. To my parents, that they've always been there with me from the moment I was 8 years old. And I told my dad, hey, Dad, I want to learn English because when I get to the big leagues, I want to be able to speak for myself. And, as a poor family growing up and him working construction, he got an extra job so he could pay for that school and I could learn English. To Scott for making this possible, truly the best. And I'm super excited to join the Twins family. I'm here, and when we talked on the Zoom call, we only talked about winning. And that's what we want to build here. We want to build a championship culture. We want to move forward and, win divisions, win championships, and that's my goal here. Make everybody around us better and just move forward with championship mentality. So thank you for having me. Super excited, like I said, and really looking forward to this new chapter in our lives.
Questions? Mike Max from WCC Radio and Television. Carlos, the other day we were talking. You came into the clubhouse and you were greeting everybody there, and it was just kind of a natural leadership flow. You visited with Rod Carew and the different players. Is it natural for you to lead because it was so obvious the way people gravitated to you and you making sure that you talked to the usher and the security guard that this was a very big piece of who you are in terms of your persona? What is Carlos Correa, the leader, mean?
Yeah, for me, it's not like I come in and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be a leader. Or I'm going to be a leader. For me, it's, I just want to be myself. I just want to get to know my teammates. I want to get to know where they're coming from, their background. I want to know them as a person because I already know the player they are, right? And I know the potential and the talent that's in there, but I want to get to know them as a person, and I want to get to know, what they want to achieve this year. And, if I can help them in any way with some information to get better, at the end of the day, that's going to be great for the team. And it's going to give us a big chance to go out there and win the division.
Carlos, right here. Dan Hayes with The Athletic. This all came together so quickly. You've been with Houston your whole life. What did it take to get comfortable with coming to the Twins?
It was pretty easy, honestly. Before this entire process of free agency, once the season was over, my wife asked me, like, how is it going to be if we ever leave? And I said, babe, what do we do on a daily basis when we're in the middle of the season? We watch movies, we go eat to restaurants, and now we take care of the baby. Every city in the United States has that. So wherever we go, we're going to be fine. And then when we put it into perspective and she saw it like that, she's like, oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, so, whatever life takes us, we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready to go out there, help the team win. And I got to tell you, I cannot be more excited. Minnesota is beautiful. I've been there, and when Scott told me all the Twins, I said I'm in.
I am Betsy from the Pioneer Press. We've talked about how quickly this came together. I guess for each of you, can you tell us what Friday was like, how hectic of a day, that was for you guys?
Okay, I'll start, Betsy. I think, as we know, this has been an unusual offseason, all the way through. And so there have been different starts and stops along the way. But I can tell you that when we had a chance, we've obviously had some conversations with Scott about a number of players. When he expressed that this may be a fit for Carlos, and it certainly was for us, it went pretty quickly from there because it was very clear. Scott had presented that Carlos had real interest in us, and we knew who the player was, right? And we had done our homework beforehand. And when we talked creatively about the ways to make this happen, it was really seamless. Scott knows our organization. We know plenty about him and what he's looking for where he wants to place some of the players. And then when we learned Carlos, when we got on that Zoom, I can tell you within the first kind of 5 minutes, it felt like it was really natural and a really good fit.
I think, when you, for Carlos, this is about performance and being optimal. And he had told me, he goes, these are some of the places I see the ball really well. And when he mentioned Minnesota, I went and looked up the data, and I said, wow, he just has a very small 1,200 OPS over there. So we knew immediately when a player's that comfortable in a ballpark, we knew that there was a joint fit. And I want to thank Derek and Thad Levine and the Polad family for when these things happen and you're talking about the gravity of this kind of player, it has such a major impact. And obviously, on the contract side, it's probably not a customary phone call every now and then to do things at the pace that we do them. But for me, when you have a player that can perform well, perform at his optimum, and you have a place that he's so comfortable with and familiar with, it just creates a synergy between the two that is the correct fit. And I know this, that all the AL Central, the Twins have a new explosive weapon, C4.
Yeah, for us it was a hectic night, to say the least. I remember Scott walking to the house around 6 p.m. and then by 10 p.m. we were in the Zoom call, and before getting on the Zoom call, I walked into the room. My wife was breastfeeding the baby, trying to put him to sleep, and I said, babe, there might be a big chance that we're going to Minnesota. He's like, just like that? Like, really? Like that quick? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to get on a Zoom call right now. So she got in the Zoom call for a little bit. I talked to Rocco. I talked to, Derek and Thad. And, they made me feel like this was the place for me to be. They made me feel like this was going to be my next home. And, when I got out the Zoom call, I told Scott, let's make it happen. And I told my wife, let's start packing. We're going to Minnesota, and we're going to go out there and have fun and help the organization win. So here we are, super excited.
Carlos and Scott, Do-Young Park with MLB.com. When and why did you become comfortable with and ultimately open to accepting a shorter-term deal to come here in Minnesota?
Well, the contract format, I think, after the certainly a long lockout was that finding placeholders for a thought process where you're looking at a long, long relationship is very difficult for ownership and for teams, roster management, construction, all the things that, the diligence that they apply to put their teams together for the long term. And it was very apparent that particularly with all the thought that went into the operation of the game at the ownership level to get the game moving again, that the focus was not there for that type of consideration. And so obviously we wanted to build a bridge, but our biggest, and Carlos's biggest concern was, I want to go somewhere where I play well, do well, and I want to have a chance to win. And certainly Minnesota created that scenario for him.
What was the question again, sorry?
When and why did you become open to accepting a shorter-term offer?
Yeah, being with Scott and then having the discussions post-lockout, we saw that short term was the best way to go about it. And, when he came to me with the Twins offer, it was something that I really wanted to do, a place I wanted to go, and it felt right. So we made the decision, and like I told Rocco and I told Derek, we're not seeing this like a one-year thing. We're seeing this as I want to build a championship culture in this organization. I want to show you guys what I can do, what I can bring to the table, so we can, have a long-term relationship at some point. So I'm very excited to show them that, to show them what I can do, and for this team to start building, that championship mentality and that championship level for years to come.
Jake Steiner with the Associated Press for Derek. Minnesota as a market has traditionally ranked with Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Tampa, some of these smaller markets. We don't see those teams landing players of Carlos's quality on the free agent market. Won't ask you to speak for those franchises, but what's been the difference in Minnesota that set you guys up to make a deal like this?
Well, I think central is ownership. I think at the end of the day, when I had a call with, remember at the beginning of the offseason, we had some conversations about the entire free agent landscape, and Carlos was right atop of that list. We weren't sure where it would take us at that stage. Obviously, we then had the lockout and coming out of it. But when I called Jim Pohlad back, as we were getting closer to this on Friday, immediate support. There's no other way to describe it. He said, yeah, let's find a way to make this happen. And I think that is just a true testament to how much Jim cares about investing in this team, trying to compete. We've done that every year. We've had some good seasons along the way. We haven't achieved what Carlos is describing and achieving more. And that was the goal. And that was the goal from ownership all the way through. And that's the only way something like this happens.
Hannah Kaiser from Yahoo Sports. This is a similar question for Derek, but I also want to open it up to Carlos. You guys are coming off a really difficult year, and I'm sort of curious what the conversations were like this offseason about recommitting to sort of winning again and trying again and not taking a step back. So that's for Derek, and then also for Carlos and Scott, sort of how the Twins went about convincing you that this is a place that you can win and even win a championship again.
Well, I think as we started the offseason, again, getting back to conversations with ownership and talking about the landscape of where we were, we looked at this club. There's a lot of players in that clubhouse that won the division in 19 and 20, and a lot of young players that grew and developed that are now going to be Carlos's teammates that were a big part of that. We certainly did not have the success we were hoping to have last year, but you really have two choices there. You can go and look at it and try and dig deep and figure out where you can improve and what are opportunities for improvement, or you can take a different path. And we chose right from the get-go, how do we figure it out? Because we think we have a talented group of players in that room, great leadership, adding more leadership like Carlos to it, signing Byron to the long-term extension to start the offseason, and ultimately make some changes like adding Sonny Gray and others that have come along the way. We're just excited about the group that's in that room, and I think we can go compete.
Yeah, the conversations we had for about 2.5 hours that we were on the Zoom call, it was all about winning. And when I get that from them, that makes me excited because I want to take up on the challenge. It was not long ago when I was playing for an organization that it was last in the big leagues the year before I got there, losing 100+ games. So I know what it takes to build a championship culture within the clubhouse. It starts within the clubhouse and all the way up to the front office. So I see that here with the talent that we have, and I see that we can get so much better in order for us to accomplish that goal to ultimately win a championship.
Tyler Kepner with the New York Times. I have a question for Carlos and Scott. First for Carlos. The Twins have had some good teams during your big league career, haven't been able to get over the hump. What have you seen from across the way about this team that, gives you encouragement that you can help them take that next step?
Yeah, I see the talent in the clubhouse, and I get excited because when I talk to the guys, with the right information and the right work that we can put in as a team, I think we can get so much better than what the stats looked like last year. And that's something we're gonna work out through spring training, through the regular season, and everybody putting in their work, everybody getting better every single day. We're gonna have a really good chance.
Also for Scott, you were out in Scottsdale the other day with a deal with Colorado, and here with the Twins. I think those are some teams, maybe some people were surprised are stepping out like this. Are you seeing, or are you hopeful of seeing more maybe unexpected teams signing these big, landmark kind of deals, whether it's the new CBA or what? It seems like that's probably good for baseball.
Well, I think ownership and everybody involved understand this is part of winning, that you're going to have in the middle of your lineup these extraordinary players. They're veteran. They bring a tone, a voice, a message to the locker room, because all the development that you do, and you're drafting, and you're bringing the players to the major league locker room, once they arrive there is a whole different language and message of the major leagues that comes from veteran players. And they all remember their moments, and they all remember their times when they first learned in a locker room what they learned from the veterans around them. And so it's a very, very important element to winning. And I think that it's rare that you have brilliant talents who are also great leaders and communicators. And when they are available, they're franchise changing.
Hey, Carlos. Carlos, you and Byron were drafted 1-2 in 2012. What have your conversations been like these last couple of days about being up the middle together there?
They've been great. They've been great. We've been having some really good conversations. We've been talking about defense a lot, and improving as a whole defensively this year. We talked about so many things, and I get to play with such a dynamic player, in the roster, and as such a great leader for this organization that the job it makes my job easier when you have a guy like Byron in your team. So he's extremely talented, one of the best players in the game. So I'm really looking forward to take the field with him.
Jordan Schusterman, Fox Sports. Following up on the Buxton part, I think I see a picture up there of you maybe at a pre-draft workout from back then. Obviously, the Twins had the second pick. What do you remember about that process? Did you ever play with Byron in high school at any showcases? And then any memories of playing with him, or against him up through the minor leagues?
Yeah, we actually played a lot, especially in high school, doing all the showcases and all the pre-draft workouts. I remember doing one for the Twins back then. And then in the minor leagues, low A, facing when he was with Cedar Rapids, I was with Quad Cities, and then we were together in the All-Star game that year. And throughout the minor leagues, we've been playing against each other, and then eventually we made it to a big league. So, it's good to see him having the success he's having, and be finally part of his team.
Jeff Passan, ESPN. On the Zoom call, Carlos, was there a particular moment that you knew this is the right fit? And same for you, Derek. Going into it, you thought this might be. Was there something that Carlos said that made you say, okay, this is the guy, this is it?
Yeah, for me, it was just how the vibes I got and how they made me feel. Especially talking to Rocco and, hearing so many great things about him from all the players that play for him. I want to be on a place where I want to feel like I can communicate with my manager, and my manager's going to have my back all the time. And that's exactly what I got from Rocco. And, he's the guy I'm going to be working the closest with. So when I feel like I have a manager that I can trust, that I can communicate with, for me, that's just game changer.
Jeff, I think for us on the other side, and we talked about it after the call, it was it was as much, we know the player, we know the quality of the talent. It was him talking about how he wanted to impact others and teammates and lift, as Scott said, lift others around him and impact our team. That's a special conversation. You don't have that every day. It was genuine. And even when Daniela got on the call briefly while she was trying to put the baby to bed, but got on, she wanted to know about the environment, and we talked about the resources around our team and what it's like to live in Minnesota. It just felt right then like the right fit. That was the moment.
Phil Miller from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Carlos, I think for all three of you actually, I think the supposition around baseball is that this is a one-year contract essentially. What has to happen for that not to be the case? And Derek, how important is it to you that it not be the case?
Well, I'll start with it, and I would just say this, that we enter into this for all the reasons we just discussed about how much we love Carlos, is how do we make this look like a long-term partnership. But we recognize that takes work and time, and we're going to invest and get to know each other over that time. The contract structure is creative and unique, and we'll address that at the right time. But we're just excited about having him here now and building that relationship and seeing where it takes us.
Yeah, for me, it's first things first. I'm focused on winning, and I'm focused on building the championship culture that I've been preaching ever since I got here. So for me, it's just go out there, help my teammates get better every single day, go out there and play hard, be there for my manager every single day, and eventually build that championship culture.
Hi, Carlos. I'm Megan Ryan with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune as well. I was curious, I think that you were working a little bit with Royce Lewis yesterday. How important is it for you, or are you maybe excited for that opportunity to mentor like a shortstop of the future and work with him in that way?
Yeah, super exciting because he reminds me a lot of myself when I was in the minor leagues, right? And, like I told him yesterday, there's some things that I know now that I wish I knew back then when I was in the minor leagues or when I was 20 years old. So I'm an open book. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, just ask me. But he's a special talent. Obviously, he was a first pick overall, and the future is bright for him. He's a hard worker. I love his attitude, and I talked to him. We've built a good relationship in the few days that I've been here. We've been exchanging texts and all that. I knew accidentally I took his number. Roy, sorry. I got him a watch for it, but yeah, he's a special kid, and I love hanging with him, and I love talking baseball with him. And I can see that he's just baseball 24/7 like me. And when you're like that, success is going to find you. So the future is bright for him.
Carlos, obviously, Rocco's, you could be batting leadoff one day and third the next day. When you look at, you've got a guy there that played the game for a long period of time and puts a priority on keeping his players relaxed so they can perform. From the outside looking in, how did that look to you when the Twins went to kind of power ball and they juggled the lineup a lot? How does that look to you as a player and having someone that understands, where you come from as your manager?
Yeah, he's the manager, so, he's going to make the lineup, he's going to make the decisions, and I will never question them. I'll just be there for him, and I'll follow him, and I will play the best as I can to help the team win. So, the decisions that he makes, I'm always going to be right behind him, and, I'm a great communicator. He's a great communicator, so I'm expecting a really fun season alongside him.
For Derek and Carlos, what impact are you hoping Carlos's October experience will have on this clubhouse, just given the history here? And Carlos, more specifically, what kind of advice will you bring to the team, assuming you guys are able to get there in October and are playing there this postseason?
Yeah, for us, I mean, we look at it as he's a World Series champion, right? He's done a lot of things individually on the field, but the impact he's had in those most meaningful games, when we saw it, firsthand, unfortunately, in 2020, and the impact that he had right against us in that first round of the playoffs, and just how much he pushed those guys. Even they didn't have the best regular season that they were intending to, but once they got there, kind of turned it up a notch, and you could see what he could do and lead. And I think about Twins historically. I mean, I look in this room, I see Rod Carew sitting back there, and Royce Lewis and LaTroy Hawkins and others that have been around. We lean on these guys and their experiences to help us get better. That's our organizational philosophy. Carlos is now going to elevate it from his experiences and add to that group.
Yeah, for me, the advice is to just go out there and when we're taking practice, we're searching for perfection. Every infield we take, every round MVP we take, every reps we take in the cage, we're looking for something. We're working with a purpose, and that's what I want to preach to the guys here. Just don't work through the emotions. If you want to be an elite defender, you got to practice like you're going to play it in the game. And if you want to be an elite hitter, you gotta practice with intent. So, a lot of young guys on the team, a lot of guys, I haven't got to see them all on the field yet. But, that's a culture we want to build here. We want to practice with intent. We want to try to be perfect in practice. So when it comes game time, we're ready to go.
Aaron Gleeman from The Athletic. Carlos, you mentioned the jersey switch. What's the significance for you of number 4?
Yeah, just a new chapter, new number, like number 4. So there's not much meaning to it. Just, new chapter, new team, new number.
Carlos, Ted Swetzler with Twins Daily. Now obviously switching to a new infield, have you worked at all with Jorge Polanco? Have you studied any of his video? How does that look now moving away from Altuve up the middle?
Yeah, talked to him in depth yesterday when we were in the infield. Today, I'm looking forward to go out there and have my first infield with the full squad. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of conversations. That combination through the middle is very important to win games, to turn those double plays, to not give any extra outs to your opponent. So definitely, I'm gonna be working very closely with him, turning double plays, getting to know him, for him to get to know me. And I'm really excited. He's a special talent. He's a special kid, and I love him.
We mentioned your history with Buxton. Is there anyone else on this current roster that you already had a previous relationship through baseball? Obviously, you've been with the Astros your whole career, but is there anyone else you already know and are familiar with, or are they all really fresh faces?
No, actually, I played a lot against Sano, against Kepler in the minor leagues, Polanco also. So, we have a relationship since back then, way back when, I was in the minor leagues. There's some of the guys that went through the Astros organization. Derek Fisher is there. There's Garza, he's there. Guys that I had really good relationships with over there, so it's good to see them here also.
Okay, with that, I think we're going to show off that jersey. Carlos, can we stand up and get a photo op? I'm going to move these chairs.